Welcome back. The chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Ishe Sage, is calling for the support of Nigerians in diaspora for the recovery and repatriation of stolen assets. Professor Sage made the call at a joint press conference with the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora. He said there's a need to put pressure on the international community to remove the barriers to the repatriation of recovered money. From there, we take a look at sports. Here's Kayode Alayonde.
Welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles of Nigeria have moved a place up to 50th position in the first football ranking for the year. The slight movement places Nigeria 7th best playing nation in Africa. Senegal will head to the weekend Africa Cup of Nations as the best playing nation in Africa and 33rd in the world, and are closely trailed by Pt.4 in second place. The Pharaohs of Egypt are 3rd on the continent and 35th in the world. Tunisia dropped to the 4th spot and are ranked 36th in the world. Desert Foxes of Algeria and Congo DR are ranked 5th and 6th. However, there were no changes in the world's top 10 teams. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have been drawn in Group E of the qualifiers for the 2019 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. The three-time African champions will face South Africa, Libya and little-known Seychelles in the final qualifying round for the continental showpiece. According to the Confederation of African Football (CAF), the qualifiers will begin in June. Nigeria failed to qualify for the 2015 AFCON held in Equatorial Guinea and the 2017 edition in Gabon, which begins on Saturday. In club football, Everton have announced the £24 million signing of Manchester United midfielder Morgan Schneiderlin. The France international has signed a 4.5-year deal until the end of June 2021, with the Toffees paying United an initial fee of £20 million. Schneiderlin says he's relishing the prospect of being reunited with Ronald Koeman, under whom he worked at Southampton prior to his departure to Old Trafford 18 months ago. And Arsenal have announced that French trio Olivier Giroud, Laurent Koscielny and Francis Coquelin have signed new long-term contracts. Giroud joined Arsenal in 2012 and has been in terrific form of late, scoring a stunning scorpion kick against Crystal Palace, bagging 2 assists and a goal against Bournemouth, while also netting a late winner against Preston in the FA Cup. Meanwhile, France international teammate Koscielny has established himself as one of the best centre-backs in the English Premier League since joining the Gunners back in 2010. Coquelin has impressed in the past couple of seasons at the Emirates, starting 15 of the 20 league games so far this season. And those are the major stories in the world of sports. The news continues in a moment. Stay with us.
The president will leave for Banjul, the Gambian capital, tomorrow for the ECOWAS mediation mission aimed at resolving the political crisis in that country. As the chief mediator in the Gambia, President Muhammadu Buhari is scheduled to meet with President Yahya Jammeh and the president-elect Adama Barrow to continue dialogue on the matter. The president will be joined by President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia and chairperson of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government, President Ernest Komora of Sierra Leone, and the immediate past president of Ghana, John Mahama. Later tomorrow, the president will travel to Bamako, Mali, to participate in the 27th Africa-France Summit. The summit is convened by French President François Hollande and is aimed at strengthening cooperation between France and African countries in areas of peace, security and economic development. Now, the U.S. Senate has been grilling President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks as opposed to his stance on Russia. His nominees for Defense Secretary and Spy Chief are indicating tough stands regarding Russia. During their Senate confirmation hearings, General James Mattis, Defense Secretary nominee, warned that President Vladimir Putin was trying to divide NATO nations. Mr. Trump's pick to head CIA said Moscow posed a threat in Europe, while also criticizing Russia's annexation of Crimea from Ukraine. General Mattis had earlier expressed his support to the intelligence community, saying he had a very high degree of confidence in them, despite the president-elect's recent doubts over their assessments. And as part of a NATO build-up, the U.S. over 3,000 troops have arrived in Poland, a move Russia has criticized. Now, while NATO countries are saying their planned deployments are purely defensive, Russia is saying it views the arrival of troops in Poland as a threat to its own security.
And within the next few days, our soldiers will be showcasing their lethal abilities as they begin to train on nearby gun ranges. To arrive at this point so swiftly is proof that when we work as a team, not only within the ranks of our tireless U.S. Army, but also as allied nations, a team of teams, no challenge is too large to overcome, no distance is too far to cross when the need arises.
On a programming note now, we'd like to inform our viewers that the monthly special program, The Crux, comes up right after the news at 10. That's at 11 p.m. in a couple of minutes. Just to inform you once again that the repeat broadcast of our monthly special program, The Crux, comes up right after the news at 10. That's about 11 p.m. in a couple of minutes. So do join us for that. And the main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari today met with security chiefs as part of efforts to address security challenges in various parts of the country. The meeting discussed the violence in southern Kaduna, terrorism in the northeast, the renewed militancy in the Niger Delta, and kidnappings in the southeast. Also today, the Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika said the planned rehabilitation of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Runway will gulp 5.8 billion naira. And he gave this figure at a meeting in the Senate. And top security nominees for U.S. President-elect Donald Trump have warned of a Russia threat during their Senate screenings. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Wenyato. Do have a good night.